I forgot to say that the first criteria for this test that we're going to give you is that it's based on both the King James and the New American Standard. That's both King James and New American Standard, the combined counts from those two books, from those two translations rather. So please understand that it's from two translations, cumulative, both King James and New American Standard. Saturday in Simpsonville, South Carolina, and it's going to be very cold tonight and tomorrow. And Monday and Tuesday, we actually stand a chance of getting some snow. That'll be the first snow in South Carolina since we started last fall. We did have snow in November in the mountains of North Carolina, where our cabin is, but this will be the first opportunity for snow here in South Carolina. We were talking about in the teens and freezing temperatures Monday and Tuesday. Well, it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. I want to give you a 10-question test, and it's going to be really interesting to see how well you do. How many times in the Bible is the word love, loved, or loves used? And I'm going to give you a choice: 0 to 250, 251 to 500, 500 to 750, 751 to 1,000, or 1,000 or more. So 0 to 250, 250 to 500, 500 to 750, 750 to 1,000, or over 1,000 times is the word love used in one of the tenses. Is it used more in the Old Testament? Remember, there's a lot more books in the Old Testament, or in the New Testament? Which book is it first used in? What book is it last used in? Are there any books in the Bible that don't even use the word love once, or any part of the word love? That was question number 5. What books is it used the most in the Old Testament? If you catch any of the top 3, you get the credit for the whole question. Which book in the Old Testament, and you can guess any one of 3, is it used the most in the Old Testament? Which book in the New Testament is it used the most? Again, you get credit if you get any of the top 3. How do you think Webster defines the word love? The Webster Dictionary, how do you think he defines the word love? How do you think the Bible defines the word love? What do you believe to be the greatest passage in the entire Bible on the word love? I want you to think about that one for a second. Which is the greatest passage, do you believe, in the Bible on the word love? Okay, let's go back to question number 1. How many times? Well over 1,000 times is the word love used in the Bible. So if you guessed anything less than 1,000, you got that one wrong. Used more in the Old Testament or the New Testament? It's used more in the New Testament. It's used 552 times in the New Testament. Where is it first used in the Bible? Interestingly enough, we don't find the word love in any form until we get to Genesis chapter 22, verse 2. But the significance of the word love is very, very significant in that verse, because it's when God says to Abraham, when God says to Abraham, take the son that you love, Isaac. Imagine, take the son you love and make him a sacrifice. First place that it appears. Where is it last used? Well, interestingly enough, it's used in Revelation, and it's used in a totally different way there. In verses 14 and 15, he talks about how the righteous will enter into the city, but the unrighteous will not, the ones who love lying. The ones who love lying. Are there any books in the whole Bible that don't use the word love? My guess is probably most of you said what I would have said without having done the study. Probably not. But, in fact, there are 4 that do not find the word love. 2 Kings, Obadiah, Nahum, and Haggai. Those 3 books, the word love does not appear. Where is it used in the Old Testament books? If you guess Psalms, you're right. It appears there 90 times. If you are very familiar with the Old Testament, you may have also said the Song of Solomon, which is all about love. And that is correct also because it appears there as well 55 times. If you said in Proverbs, you would be correct also because there it's found 53 times. Psalms 90 times, Song of Solomon 55, Proverbs 53. Used the most in the New Testament? If you said the gospel that expresses love, which is the Gospel of John, you're correct, 78 times. You may be surprised about the second highest count. It's 1 John, which is a very small book, but the word love is used 52 times in that little tiny book. And if you're looking for that third one, it's almost a tie between Ephesians and Romans. Ephesians 28 times, Romans 27 times. How do you think Webster defines love? Well, I was disappointed. I have not an extensive Webster dictionary here, but a pocket-sized Webster dictionary, and it says warm affection or sexual passion. I guess with the 50 Shades of Grey that's getting so much notoriety right now, that's probably the way most Americans see love today, as that sexual passion. Number 9, how do you think the Bible defines love? Well, if you were to go to a good Bible dictionary, you'll find that from the original languages, it's an unselfish, a loyal, or a benevolent kind of feeling. An unselfish, a loyal, or benevolent. Now, it's true that there are some Greek words that mean love, which takes into consideration Webster's dictionary definition. The first one is agape love, the godly kind of love, the unselfish, the one that's benevolent, the one that's loyal. There's phileo love, the kind of love that humans can have for humans, a good close friendship, a very good relationship. And then there's also eros love, which is an erotic kind of love. That would be the sexual love of the Webster Dictionary. That brings us to the 10th and final question, which is the greatest passage on love. Well, probably a lot of you chose John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and there's no question you have to give yourself credit for that. But the one that I selected is in 1 John 4:8. The one who does not love does not know God, for God is love. Not that God loves, God is love. And the one that doesn't love can't know God. Because the only way you can love is to know God, and he gave us the 2 greatest commandments. Love the Lord your God, and your neighbor as yourself. For God is love. Well, I think that's also appropriate if you've selected 1 Corinthians 13:1. Paul says, if I speak with tongues of men and of angels, but do not have love, I have become a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have not love, I'm just a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. Pretty significant phrase for love, isn't it? And then finally we come to John 21:16 and 17. When God really tested Peter through Jesus, Jesus asked Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, as most of us would have to be honest that we would answer. He said, "Yes, Lord, you know I love you." But you see, the love that Peter had in his heart was not the agape kind of love. It was not the complete unselfish. It was not the complete loyal. It was not the complete benevolent. And so Jesus asked him a second time, "Do you love me?" And a second time Peter asked the same, answered the same, and said, "Yes, I love you." Peter was grieved when he asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" And Jesus said, "Tend my sheep. Tend my sheep." How do you love God today? Do you love him with a unselfish, loyal, beneficial, benevolent, total love? A sold out kind of love? Probably from time to time we all do. There's probably other times when we don't. Only God has the capability of giving that agape kind of love 24/7. But he does. And he so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. That's your special thought for this Valentine's Day. I hope when you think about love and expressing your love today, that you'll express your love to God. Oh, it's wonderful to love your wives and to be loyal, to be benevolent, and to be one of those ones that loves even with an eros kind of love if it's your wife. But it's also very, very special to realize that you can't love unless you know God, for God is love. Your thought for the day. God bless you.